Hello everyone and welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to upload file like an image and video using Next.js and also using UploadThings, right? And then as you can see, this project is basically using also drag and drop functionality. We're going to put the URL into the database using help of Prisma ORM. So let's take a look at the final project. As you can see here, I can basically drag and drop any image. As you can see, this image right here, this is a white car. We have also the preview, right? That's pretty nice. Here, I'm going to click upload. As you can see, we have the progress bar right here. That's pretty nice. As you can see in here, it's first empty, right? And it's done. After the upload is done, as you can see, we have the preview, and then on the upload things, if I refresh that, of course, we have the file, right? This right here. And also on the database is, if I refresh that, we also have the file, okay? That's pretty nice. Here, I can also drag and drop like a video, right? This one right here, just click that and then upload. That's basically will work. So that's what we're gonna learn on this video. Hope this video helpful, and then let's get started. All right, so let's start from generate brand new Next.js application. I'm going to give a name Next.js file upload. You can just give any name you want. It doesn't really matter. So TypeScript, I'm going to do yes. ESLint, Tailwind, source directory, no. App router, yes. Turbo pack, yes. And import alias, I'm going to do no. All right, so now we can cd to that Next.js file upload folder and open it in my beautiful VS Code. Right, so now we are going to say npm run dev, and then I'm going to open the page.tsx. Let's try to just remove all of this, right? And then what I'm going to do, let's say return, let's do diff. Let's just random things in here, it doesn't really matter. Save that, and then let's open the localhost 3000. Let's take a look at the result. Let's take a look, here we go, right? So now let's go back in here, and I'm going to add class name in this div. I'm going to paste this class name, minimal height, background gray, and padding as well. And also inside that, I'm going to add another div that have class name. This maximal width 2xl, mx auto, and then the space is 6. And then also inside that, I'm going to put the heading one, right? Just that's it. So now let's take a look. Here we go. And then now we are going to create the input so user can basically drag and drop the file to upload the file, right? So I'm going to use the React Dropzone in this case. So let's try to just copy this package, and then I'm going to open another terminal here, paste that, hit enter. And the way we're using that, let's take a look. So we need to run the use dropzone hooks, as you can see in here. And basically we can grab the get root props, get input props, and etc. And then we can put that inside this return in here, right? So we have to create a div and then put the get root props, and then we need to create the input as well. Great. So now let's try to just copy this line here, right? I'm going to copy, paste that to the home component. And then of course we have to import the use dropzone like this. Let's take a look. The onDrop is basically should be a function. So I'm going to paste that function in here. It's like a files, right? Files like this. And then I'm going to, for now, just console log that files, just like this. As you can see, the example right here, onDrop should be a function. Okay. So now I'm going to create a div and then input. Let's do that in here, right? Under the heading one, I'm going to put this div that have this class name. I just want to paste this class name right here. Super simple, that have border 2, border dash, the padding is 12, and then the cursor is pointer, and then etc. So let's take a look at the result, right? As you can see, we have this error. The reason is because this home component is basically server component. So we have to change that to the client component because we're using this use dropzone hooks. So here I'm going to change that to the client. But normally you have to create like another component and then paste that or import that on the home component here. So the home component still should be a server component. That's normally I do, but this is just for tutorial, so I think it's fine. Let's take a look at the result. As you can see, now if I click this one, nothing happened because I'm not put the input. So here, let's try to put the input, right? I'm going to copy this input and then paste that inside the div. Like this. So now if I click that, this one right here, it should be open my file basically. It should be. Let's try to refresh that again and then click that. Nope. Oh yeah, the reason is because as you can see in the documentation in here, we need to put also the get root props on the parent, on the div. I'm going to copy that and then paste that to this div right here like this, right? And now it should be works. That means if I click that area here, it should be open my file basically. So I can just select any file in here, right? It works. Cool. So the next thing is, let's just try to add some styling in here. So basically we also have this in drag active. That means, let me just try to make it small and try to drag and drop some file. If I drag and drop like this, right, the is drag active, it should be true. So now what I'm going to do is inside this div, right, inside this parent right here, I'm gonna do is paste this condition. So if the is drag active is true, I'm gonna change the border to blue and then the background is blue 50. Let's take a look at the result. Here I'm going to drag and drop, right? As you can see, now if I drag to this area, the background is changed and also the border is changed, right? If I release, nothing happened for now, but if you take a look on the console, because as you can see in here, we just console log that, we should see that value, right? This array right here. So now I like to have like a preview. If I drag and drop this image, for example, so I have the preview before I upload that file. So the way we're doing that is we need to create like a state to handle the preview value. So in here, I'm going to paste this preview state. As you can see, it's use state, of course. And then basically the value should be string or null. And then by default, it's basically null. So what we're going to do now is we need to grab the files. If you take a look on the browser, where is that? Where is that file? As you can see, this is an array, right? So we need to get the file basically. The way we're getting that is here, I'm going to say const, I'm going to say f for the file, set equals to files, and then here I'm going to grab the first value on this array, right? This is the array, I'm going to grab the first value. Great. So now what I'm going to do is we need to set previews. So we have to use url.create object URL and then paste that f right here. That's it. So now we have the value on the preview here. And then we are going to putting that in here basically just to show the preview. So here I'm going to say, I think I'm going to add condition. If there is no preview or the preview is null, I'm going to render a text in here, right? So let's do these things right here, else this thing right here. So first let's handle the if the preview is null. So I'm going to paste this p, right, the p tag right here that have text drag and drop or click to select file. And then else, that means we have already have the preview value. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this div right here. As you can see, first I'm going to import the image, come from the next/image, and then this file is basically another state, right? So I'm going to create that state first on the top right here before I explain that. So I'm going to paste this file state, right? It's basically have type file or null. So of course we have to run that in here as well. So I'm going to set file into that file, right? F. So after we get the file value, what we have to do is we need to check that, as you can see in here. If the file.type start with image, right, that means I drag and drop image, not video, it should be render this image tag right here, right, that have width and height and class name, etc. But if I just drag and drop video, it should be render the video tag, right? Just pretty simple. Let's take a look. Here I'm going to drag and drop the image here. Drag and drop like this. As you can see, the result is image, right? That's pretty cool. We have the preview here. I think I also have like a video here, so I'm going to refresh that first. And then I'm going to drag and drop this video like this. As you can see, we have the preview, right? That's pretty cool. I can refresh that and then put another video and it just basically works. That's pretty cool. I think the drag and drop functionality works right now. So how about if user drag and drop file like a PDF? We don't want that, right? So we just need to image and video. So that's why in here on this use dropzone, I'm going to paste this accept. So what I need to accept in this drag and drop is basically image with any type and video with any type. And then the maximal file is just one file. That's it. So we have this condition, pretty cool. Next, I'm going to create button upload so user can click that button to upload the file. So after this div right here, right after the div that have this get root props value, I'm going to put another button right here, down here, right? So this button is basically will render if we have file. If we don't have any file, don't render anything. So this button, when I click that, it run the start upload function. And then as you can see, I paste that file. So let's try to create the start upload function on the top right here. So let's do const start upload function. It's going to be an arrow function like this. For now, it's fine. Let's take a look on the browser what we have. When we drag and drop file, or I think I just want to click that from here and then select any file. As you can see, this file right here, for example. And then as you can see, we have this button upload, right? That's what I want. So now let's try to working with the upload functionality. We're going to use UploadThings basically. These UploadThings right here, right? And you can create an account in here, just sign up, super simple. And then here you can go to your dashboard and then create a new app, right? So let's just click the create new app. After you click that, you can just select this plan option. I'm going to go with the free version. I think it's fine. And the app name, I'm going to do file upload. You can just naming whatever you want. Then for the region, I think we cannot change that, right? So just click create app right here. I hope you can see that. Oh yeah, cool. It's just gone pretty quickly. So now what we need to get from here is basically the important thing is the API key. So this one right here. So let's go to docs right here. And then the new version is basically, I believe, version 7, right? So let's just copy this command right here. And then we need to install it. Here we go. And we have to create the environment variable with value UploadThings underscore token. So I'm going to copy that. And here we are gonna create that file .env and then paste that like this. So this is my token. Of course, you have your own token. So let's take a look on the docs. Just always go to documentation, any technology you want to use. Here, of course, first we have to create the core.ts file inside the API /uploadthing/core. I'm gonna copy that, all right? And then go back to here. I'm going to just click this file, paste that API /uploadthing/core.ts and just hit enter. Cool. So here, let's take a look what happened. So anyway, you can add the authentication in here. You can put the middleware to basically make sure user should be logged in before a user can upload a file. But for now, it's fine. I'm not going to do that for authentication. I think the next video is fine. But for now, I'm not going to do with authentication, right? First, I'm going to copy on the top right here. I'm going to copy and paste that. So let's take a look. What is this? So this is basically a create file called f and then running the create upload things. That's it. So next thing is we need to basically create variable called our file router, right? This is basically an object. So I'm going to copy that. Paste that down here. This should be an object like this. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to put the media uploader. And as you can see, the media uploader, the first is I running the app, which is the create upload things right here, and then put what I want. So the first is the image, right? The image, I like to just the maximal file size is 4 GB. But for video, I like to the maximal file size is 1 GB. So you can just put any value in here. As you can see, there's a lot of option basically, right? So 4 GB is fine, I think, for image. So next we can just run the on upload complete, and as you can see inside that, I put the async function. This is basically that you see on the documentation as well. As you can see in here, on upload complete, this is basically async function. And also you can grab the metadata and also the file, right? That's what I do right here. So basically in here, we can get the file URL, and next we are going to store that file URL into the database. But for now, I think console log is fine. We're going to back on this file later. So let's try to see what next we have to do is we need to make sure this satisfies. It should be file router like this. And then also we need to export the type, right? I'm going to copy this and then just paste that down here like this. For the upload things error, I'm going to remove that. For now, I think it's fine. Great. So the next thing is we need to create, I believe, the route, right? the row.ts is basically on the same file with the core.ts file. So I'm going to paste that file, row.ts, and then I'm going to copy everything and paste that, right? So here, as you can see, this is basically just running this export, get, and post. So we can make a get request and post request right here. As you can see, router set equals to our file router that we create on the core.ts file right here. Great. So the next thing is we need to create the lib folder on the root. I'm going to do lib/uploadthing, right? And then hit enter. So what we have to do in here is basically super simple. I'm going to copy and paste that, right? This is just like a export the use upload things hooks that we can use that on the page.tsx basically. So this use upload things is basically hooks that come from the generate React helpers, right? Come from this package right here. So anyway, let's try to see how we can use that. I think everything should be done, right? The uploading stuff. So now let's go back to the page.tsx, and here basically the magic will be happen, right? If I click the upload button right here, the start upload will running. So how we can upload the file? But instead of create function like this, we need to grab the function from the upload things, basically the start upload function from the upload things. So here on the top right here, I'm going to create cons, and then here I'm going to say set equals to use, I believe upload things like this, right? And then I'm going to specify this should be media uploader like that, and then we can put like an object inside that. So here basically we can grab the start upload function like this, and then we can also grab the is uploading, right? So that's why in here I'm going to remove it like that. So let's take a look on this right here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say on client upload complete, right? If the upload is complete on the client side, what I'm going to do is try to run this arrow function. So what I'm going to do, of course, if everything is done, I'm going to set the file back to null and set the preview also back to null. Right, so I think just that's it. Let's take a look. I hope this is working. Let's try to refresh that, and then I'm going to open my file right here, file uploadings. As you can see, the file is empty, right? I'm going to put that right here so you can see what happened if I just drag and drop any file or just click that. So I think this card right here, I'm going to click open. And then as you can see, this is the preview of the image. And then now I'm going to just trying to click upload. As you can see, it's pending right here. And then let's see, this make a post request, right? And then I believe we should see on the console the array, right? This is the file. It's come from the page.tsx that we doing on the, where is that? Right here, right? Console log files. And then I hope we also can see the console on the on upload complete in here, but I think it should be run on the server or something else. Let's try to see. As you can see down here, guys, that we basically get the file, right? Come from here. So this is basically image and etc. etc. If you go back on the uploadings dashboard and then refresh it, hopefully we see that file. As you can see here, right? This is the file image. If I click that, it should be open that image, right? It's come from this URL. That's super nice. We basically successful upload the file into the uploadings. But for now, we're going to make sure that the URL is also stored on the database. And then that's why we're going to use Prisma, right? So let's try to set up Prisma. So I'm going to just, let's try to go back on this Medium. It's my blog basically. And then here, what I'm going to do, let's try to install the Prisma. I'm going to copy that and then paste it. Great, it's done. So now let's take a look. The next step is we need to initialize the Prisma. So we can do npx Prisma init. This basically will create the Prisma folder. Let's take a look here on the root. We are going to see the Prisma folder. So anyway, it's take a time. I'm not sure what happened. let's try to run it again. npx prisma init, and it's already exists. Cool. So here we have prisma and then schema.prisma file, right? It's basically, let's take a look. The PostgreSQL URL is come from the database URL. So let's open the environment variables. Here we are going to put the database URL, right? And then I just copy and paste from the Medium block, but anyway, I'm going to change that here to my Postgres. And also for the database, I'm going to say file upload. You can just naming whatever you want, and I just want to make sure that my Postgres is running, right? Cool, everything is run. So the next thing is we are going to create the schema. Because this is just really simple application, I just want to show you how the upload things with Prisma working together, right? So I'm going to create really simple schema right here, and I'm going to make it small. I think here I'm going to do model call upload, and then I'm going to create like an ID, a name, and etc. So I think I just want to copy and paste that. As you can see, we have an ID. The ID should be add ID, and the default is UID. And then we have the name of the file. We have the URL of the file. We have the file tab. It basically can be image or video. The file size is basically integer, and then create add, right? Just that's it. After we create the model, what we have to do next is we need to run the npx prisma generate. And then after that, we need to run npx prisma db push. All right, great. So now we can run npx prisma db push. Great, is done. So we can say npx prisma studio to see the database on the Prisma Studio. As you can see, we have the upload right here. It's basically the file is just empty. There's no file in here. There's no data. Cool. So now let's take a look how we can store the URL on the database. It's pretty simple. Let's go back to core.ts file. We have to do that in here inside the onUploadComplete function. So let's try to make it bigger so you can see clearly here, I hope, right? I'm going to paste this right here. This basically will await the prisma.upload, but of course we have to create the Prisma client. I just forget that. So let's go back to the Prisma. We need to create the db.ts file on the lib. You can just naming db or Prisma, whatever is fine. I'm going to give a name like just Prisma, right? Prisma.ts file, and then just copy this right here, the Prisma client. The Prisma client, it should become from the generated/Prisma, right? So we have the Prisma export right here that we can using. So let's go back to core and then just import the Prisma from the lib/Prisma, right? From here. Cool. So let's take a look. This is the way we put data on the Prisma, right? I think you have already know about that. As you can see, we await prisma.upload is specified for the upload table, and we do create because we need to put data on that upload table. And that data, what we have to put is basically the name, right? And the URL is come from the file.ufs URL. The file type is file.type. File size is file.size. Just that's it. So now I'm going to go back on the UploadThings dashboard and try to delete that file, right? So now we have empty file on the UploadThings. All right, so now let's try to upload a file. So for example, this white car, I'm going to drag and drop. And then now as you can see, if I click upload button, right? Nothing just happened, but I think it's now we can check on the Prisma Studio. I hope we see some data. As you can see here, we have one data, we have the URL and etc. Right? That means we successfully put the URL of the image into the database, right? Using Prisma. That's pretty cool, right? So I think I'm gonna close the terminal, and then now what we have to do is show like a loading indicator in here when we upload, right? So we have the loading, and then of course, I'm going to also show you how to render the image as well down here. So first, let's working with the progress bar. I'm going to go back to the page.tsx and then create the state called progress, right? By default, of course, should be null. And then now what we have to do is inside the use UploadThings hooks, I'm gonna paste this set progress right back to 0. This is basically when the client upload complete. When the complete is done, I'm gonna set the progress back to 0, and then here we have function called on upload progress. On upload progress, and then I'm gonna paste the set progress state like this, and it's just done, right? We have the value on the progress right now. So let's try to render that value down here. So let's just render that under the button upload right here. I'm going to just paste that, right? As you can see, this is basically just check first. If the is uploading is true, I'm going to render this div that have the style width is based on the progress, right? It should be a 0 until 100. And then we have the P right here, like the value percent, like a 0%, 5%, 25%, etc. And also here, I'm going to add a condition. It should be render the upload button when the file have a value, and then when the is uploading is false. So now let's take a look. I'm going to upload another file, right? Now I'm going to upload the red car right here. I'm going to drag and drop. And then we have the red car, right? We have the preview, and then I'm going to click upload. Hopefully, as you can see, we have 0%. Let's take a look. We have like 100% goal is done. So, but now we don't have any preview. So that's why we're going to working with that for now. So here under the is uploading progress right here, I'm going to render the image or the video. So anyway, I just want to copy and paste. You can just go to the code. All right, I'm going to put the link on the description. It's fine. As you can see in here, we have this div that have uploaded file, and then here the uploaded array. So where's come from? So the uploaded array is basically state. So I'm going to create that on the top, right? So let's do upload and then use state. The type is basically upload type. We don't have the type, so I'm going to create that on the top right here. Type upload that have an ID, name, URL, and file type. That's it. And then now what we have to do is run the set upload and then put the value. So I think first we have to create the API route, right? To basically user can get any image from the database or any file, right? Because this is also get the video file. So on the API here, I'm going to create a folder, right? I'm going to call that uploads/route.ts file like this. And then what we have to do in here is basically pretty simple. We're going to get all the data on the Prisma upload table. As you can see here, this basically will await for the Prisma.upload find many. We grab all the data and then just return as a next response. Just that's it. Super simple, and basically this is just on the get request. Cool. So I'm going to go back to the home right here, home component. What we have to do is just run the run function to make a get request. So in here, I'm going to create function called fetch upload. This is async function. As you can see, I make a fetch request on the API/upload, and then run the set upload into the rest.json. This is basically the data, and I'm going to put the data on the upload state. Just that's it. And now we need to have to run the fetch upload. I'm going to running that on the first render. So that's why I'm going to do that inside the use effect with empty dependency like this. So now we have the uploads value, right? And then the uploads array should be mapping down here. As you can see, we have this div, and then we grab the individual upload, right? If the upload type is start with image, which is this is image, I'm going to render that inside the image. If video, I'm going to render that inside of video. Just that's it, and render the name down here. Just that's it. So let's take a look. Here I'm going to see, as you can see, we have this error here. The reason is we need to add configuration on the, let's see, on the next config, basically. So let's scroll down and see how we can fix that. So basically, I'm going to copy this images right here, images object, and go to the next config.ts file, and then just paste that like this. So now I'm going to replace this object with this new value. As you can see, protocol is HTTPS. So I'm going to show you first right here. All the image is basically starting with, let me try to refresh this. So we have the like a URL in here. I'm gonna open that. As you can see, this is basically a random number and then .ufs and then .h, right? So that's why here I'm running that with star. This is basically a random value .usf.h, right? That's the host name. So if I save that, let's take a look right here. Now, hopefully the error should be gone. I'm going to refresh that. And then hopefully, as you can see, there's no error. And then the image should be rendered like this, right? That is pretty cool. So now what we have to do is basically after I upload file like a video or image, I need to trigger the fetch upload as well. So when I upload and done, the file, new file should be rendered down here. And that's why on the page.tsx in here, I'm gonna also run the fetch upload when the upload is done, which is on here. When the client upload completed, what I'm gonna do is also run the fetch upload function, right? That's it. And I'm gonna remove the console log in here. We don't need that for now. I think everything should be fine. Let's try to drag and drop video for now. I'm going to refresh that, just make sure there's no error. As you can see, everything is just clean. Now I'm going to just drag and drop a video, right? Where's that? This video right here. So just drag and drop. And then as you can see, we have the preview. This is 0.16 minute. I'm gonna click upload and then let's see what's happening. All right, as you can see, it's done. And then the fetch upload is running. And then now we have this video, right? This is MP4. So I think that's it. So we implement all of that. We implement the drag and drop functionality, and also we implement how to upload file on the upload things. If you go back to upload things, you refresh, now you should see 3 file, right? That's pretty cool. If you see on the overview, now as you can see, this is the maximal that you can use, which is 2 GB. For the free version, I think it's enough. I think it's fine. Right, that's pretty cool. So you can see on the Prisma Studio, you can just refresh that. Now you should see 3 data in here. That's nice. All right, so I think that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video is helpful. Maybe on the next video, we're going to also put like an authentication, right? We combine the better out with these upload things. If you want, just put a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.